Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm here to tell you why I believe I'm an experienced and exceptional teacher. I've been in the classroom for 8 years now, 3 years as a paraprofessional, and I'm now in my fifth year as the teacher of record. In that time, I've learned so many different things that I believe have made me into the teacher that I am today. One of the biggest things that I believe make me that who I am as a teacher is the passion that I have. I've always wanted to be a teacher. It's something that I've dreamed of my whole life, and it is what motivates me every day to be the best that I can for my students. Another way that I believe I'm an exceptional teacher is in my ability to engage and support students in their learning. And one way that I do this is by building relationships with my students. I believe that this is the most important thing that we can do as teachers is to have strong relationships with our students. I believe when my students and I have that strong rapport and connection, that there's that strong foundation for learning there. I'm able to learn about my students in many different ways, but some of the ways I do that in my class are just engaging with them, playing with them, learning what their interests are, communicating with their families, and being there with them and connecting. Another way I believe that I'm an exceptional teacher is in my abilities to develop and maintain effective learning environments. One way I do this is through structure and consistency. I believe this is another essential thing in the classroom. In my classroom, we follow a class schedule that's predictable and routine. My students know what to expect. I, f- um, I feel that this is very important for them to feel safe and be ready to learn. In my classroom, students are working on communication skills, pro-social coping skills, etc. Also, to in whenever they need help with some additional regulation strategies, etc. So I do believe that having those supports in place for my students really helps maintain a safe and effective learning environment. Another way I believe I'm an exceptional teacher is my ability to understand and plan for the variety of learners in my classroom. I know the developmental sequences and many of the disabilities that I have in my classroom, I'm familiar with, and I'm able to see and understand where my students are at and how to plan and differentiate materials to fit their needs. I know what supports to put in place to allow my students to all have access to materials. I know the standards and I'm aware of how to scaffold them to, again, provide that access to the variety of learners in my classroom. One key method that I use in my classroom is universal design for learning. So I'm constantly making sure I'm engaging my students on those individual interests that I know based on our relationships. I am also making sure I have access, a variety of different access available for my students, as well as different modes of and ways for them to express their ideas and thoughts. Another way that I'm an exceptional teacher is in my ability to assess my students and what they've learned and how to then take that and plan for learning content. I'm able to use formative assessments in the moment to see what my students are learning, maybe pivot in that moment if I realize that something is not clicking for them, and how to switch it up so that I can bring it to their level and help them fill in that missing piece. I'm able to recognize through summative assessments and reviewing their work samples, what areas still need to be worked on, as well as areas that they've mastered and succeeded in. So by no means am I a perfect teacher. I still continue to grow and learn every day. With the help of my colleagues and my mentors, I'm able to continue to develop as an educator. One thing I love about my job is that I'm in the classroom and I'm therefore also a lifelong learner. So I feel that I will always be wanting to learn more about my field and more about the community that I serve. Because as I said earlier, I do believe having those strong relationships with my students and families is what helps make me the most exceptional and effective teacher. Thank you.